Hi, welcome to the latest in a series of videos about Irish records and Irish ancestors, the site, the people, and the wonderful landscape. And today I'm going to be talking about more 18th century census returns. An earlier video goes the first part of them. This one is the second part. So again, we're going to use the site as a jumping off point. So let's go there now. Here we are at the site. Records, census, and 18th and 19th century. So this is, again, the background, the destruction of the 19th century census records and lots of 18th century material as well has made the fragments and the bits and pieces that survive much more important in Ireland than in most other places. So I'm going to start off from some of the most peculiar ones. The Charlton Trust Fund. This is a very peculiar charity set up at the end of the 18th century to subsidize the marriages of labouring members of the Church of Ireland. Like most of these things, it had a sectarian background. The idea was the papists are outbreeding us. Let's get our own labouring classes to marry and give them money to marry, incentivize them, and they can start breeding back at you, as it were. So in order to do that, in order to claim the fund, the subvention, you had to get a certificate signed by yourself and by the church wardens of the minister of the parish and the church wardens of the parish. Again, if we hadn't blown up all the Church of Ireland registers in 1922, or most of them, this wouldn't be particularly interesting. But this, for example, is the record of two people marrying in County Longford in 1821, and it gives their fathers' names. It gives the date of the marriage. It gives their townland address as well, or a parish address at the very least, Keena. So it's a parish register substitute in effect, with a little bit of location information thrown in. The locations it covers, it was aimed specifically at the sort of North Midlands. So Longford and Westmeath are the main areas covered, but there are some bits and pieces for County Louth, for County Meath. Some wanders into Monaghan and Cavan in some places, but it's that sort of central Midlands, North Midlands, very, very south of Ulster area that it covers. It's in the National Archives of Ireland. It's perfectly catalogued. They have a wonderful detailed calendar, alphabetical calendar of it, on the open shelves there. The dates it covers, the vast majority of them are from the 1820s and 1830s. There are a few earlier, and it seems to have got a second wind sometime in the 1870s and 1880s. So there are some later ones there as well, which again can be very useful because of the lack of parish registers. Anyway, that's the Charlton Fund. Okay, as well as that, there are these weird and wonderful things called spinning wheel premium entitlement lists. Okay, this one of the few non-sectarian census substitutes. It was a government subsidy scheme designed to encourage the production of linen. Okay, so given that the linen industry was heavily concentrated in the northeast, which was heavily Presbyterian, maybe there was a sectarian element to it, but there was no confessional test. There was no, you didn't have to belong to any particular religion to claim this. What you did have to do was plant a certain area in flax, and if you did that, you got the most of the cost of the spinning wheel paid for. So again, you planted the flax and you became a weaver. So there are almost 60,000 people covered. It was published. The lists were published in 1796. It's almost entirely in Ulster. Um, Dublin and Wicklow areas with weaving traditions as well are also covered. They're online. There's a transcript online at this website, falterroth.com, which we'll open in a new tab. This is a website run by a man called John Hayes in Connecticut. All sorts of weird and wonderful transcripts and so the hearth money roll, the flax growers list of 1796, where you can choose. So, or you can choose the county. Let's see how many there were from Dublin. Okay, well, we need to give a surname, don't we? So full or partial surname, Smith. Smith, M-I-T-H. Okay, no, Smiths. We'll take Dublin out. See how many Smiths. Search all. Okay, and you can see Monaghan, Fermanagh, down, Monaghan, down, 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 down. Okay, it's heavily concentrated in Ulster, historic Ulster. So it includes Cavan, Monaghan, Donegal, areas that you wouldn't, that aren't in Northern Ireland now. Also, you can see Leitrim. There's some in Roscommon, some in Cork, lots and lots in Donegal. Again, this is just Smiths. And you can see as well the usefulness. Like a lot of these things, it wouldn't be of any interest if we had proper records. All you get is the name and the parish. You don't even get a place name. So it can be very tantalizing. Like a lot of them, again, you can find somebody of the right surname in the right parish, but no evidence at all to say what their relationship is. The last of these 19th century returns that I'm going to talk about is the list of persons who suffered losses in the 1798 rebellion. There are claims for compensation. There was a lot of property destroyed in the 1798 rebellion. It's online at Find My Past. So it's transcribed, and there it tells you those who made a claim to cover losses are most of the information, but it also includes people who surrendered to a magistrate, so claimants and surrenders. Okay, it's so if somebody fought and didn't surrender, they won't be here. If they did surrender, they will be. They'll be listed. But again, it's pretty basic information. So Anne Smith, Wexford. Okay, window glass broken, and she lost some cloths and some hats. So again, like lots and lots of claims for compensation, it's some people chanced their arms, other people were devastated by it. So it's more family history, local history than genealogy, but it's there, and it is part of this wonderful, weird and wonderful collection of things called census substitutes in Ireland. So I'll be moving on next week to talk about 19th century census return, not census return, census substitutes, and that gets weirder and weirder, I can promise you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and good hunting.